News time on Radio KYA. I'll be right back with many more swinging songs right now. Here is Mark Adams in the newsroom.
These stories are making headlines right now. In San Francisco, another death dive from the Golden Gate. As you heard first on KYA Radio News, within 13 minutes after it happened, another jumper took a suicide leap off the big bridge by dawn's early light. According to Highway Patrol reports to KYA, the jumper was northbound on the bridge, slowed to a stop at mid-span, slid across the seat of his car, climbed out the right-hand door, seemed to stagger, then, without a moment's hesitation, placed both hands on the rail and vaulted over the side. 13 minutes later, as you were listening to the report on KYA Radio News, the Coast Guard was already recovering the body and bringing it into Fort Point. San Francisco coroner is now on the scene, and I have the victim's identification, but I won't air it until I'm sure his family has been notified. Another late line, broadcast first on KYA Radio News an hour ago. East Bay stations, please copy. Another shotgun holdup in Oakland this morning. Another Simus Brothers service station, this one at 80th Avenue and East 14th Street, knocked over at about 3:30 in the a.m. Pair of shotgun-packing bandits who matched the M.O. and descriptions of the two who pulled a similar holdup at another Simus station only a couple of mornings ago. In other news around the Bay, Dr. Philip Gallagher, the Stanford physicist who helped establish the first radar contact with the sun, came in contact with a 5,000-volt power line at his lab and was electrocuted. He was only 33. Down the coast, Ed Knudsen, a South City man, wading with his wife in the surf at Pedro Point when a big wave caught him, carried him to deep water, and drowned him. In Modesto, the jury's verdict in the arsenic and old lace trial, guilty. Mrs. Esther May Hellwinkle, the Lonely Hearts widow accused of seasoning her late husband's food with arsenic, has been found guilty of first-degree murder. The jury to reconvene next Tuesday to decide whether she should spend the rest of her life in prison or die in the gas chamber. On the Sacramento scene, a minimum wage of $1.25 an hour for every working man, woman, and child, from a babysitter to a corporation president, was recommended to the Assembly today by the Industrial Relations Committee. Moving to the Assembly floor after a 6-4 vote in committee were two bills backed by the AFL-CIO. The bills opposed by farm groups, employers, hotels, restaurants, taxicab companies, employers of door-to-door salesmen, theaters, the League of California Cities, and those who employ babysitters. In the nation's capital, Senate Republicans plan to call up a watered-down substitute for President Kennedy's minimum wage bill today, and the chief executive's measure will face another stiff test as conservatives try to pass a bill like the one which sank the administration measure in the House last month. Looking through KYA's bay window on the world, a night-long struggle against a stormy sea has ended with the rescue of the entire 35-man crew of a sinking ship off the coast of Maine. 3 fires allegedly set by anti-Castro saboteurs caused millions of dollars worth of damage during the night to 2 department stores and a paper factory in Cuba. In Jerusalem, former Nazi SS officer accused of murdering millions of Jews is now waiting out the weekend to find out whether he'll be tried by an Israeli court. And the spaceman came back to Moscow today, and he got a welcome reminiscent of the way New Yorkers cheered Charles Lindbergh in 1927. The near-hysterical reception began at Moscow Airport. The cheering swelled and grew into a constant rolling thunder as Major Yuri Gagarin was driven past 12 miles of shouting, screaming Russians to Red Square. There were so many Russians, nobody could count them, but the total had to be well over 2 million. In Red Square, they were jammed so tight they couldn't move. It seemed at times that all 5 million Muscovites had deserted their jobs to cheer their hero. As the motorcade approached Red Square, it was hard to say who was the proudest. Gagarin grinning in the back seat of his car, his wife smiling shyly on his right, or commie crew chief Khrushchev beaming on his left. The climax came at Red Square. Standing atop Lenin's tomb, Gagarin was embraced by Khrushchev, who kissed him on the cheek in the traditional Russian show of affection. Khrushchev, so happy, he wept and practically jumped up and down with excitement. Meanwhile, Soviet news agency TASS says that spaceman Gagarin returned to Earth by parachute. He and his spaceship were seen coming down by a tractor driver working in a field. So far, they haven't made it clear whether the spaceman climbed out of the ship while it was still in the air or whether the whole thing came down by parachute. But TASS's report says that a Soviet scientist claims Gagarin's landing was exceptionally successful. Quote, the astronaut came down smoothly in a glade near a field, landing on both feet. This makes it look like Gagarin had leaped from the spaceship before it landed. That's KYA Radio News. This is Adam. Stand by for weather.
Business is booming at Bonded Stanway Motors. They're offering the most fabulous car bargains in history. Right now at Bonded Stanway Motors, 790 Van Ness Avenue, the corner of Eddy, they'll give you the deal you want or break their backs dry. Choose from over 600 cars, the make, model, and year you want. From 1955 to 1961 cars, every one a bargain with a 5-day free trial exchange privilege plus 12,000-mile or 1-year written guarantee. At Bonded Stanway Motors, you can buy the car you want with your good credit for as little as $50 down. Or if you have a car to trade, you'll be amazed at how much you get for it. You can't go wrong at Bonded Stanway, where high volume and low overhead mean better deals for you every time. Remember the address at Bonded Stanway Motors, 790 Van Ness Avenue, the corner of Eddy in San Francisco. Also in San Jose and Salinas. Here now are two typical Bonded Stanway values.
A 1959 Plymouth Belvedere 4-door with radio heater and automatic transmission, just $1,195. And a 1959 Chevrolet station wagon, radio and heater, $1,395. Bonded Stanway Motors, 790 Van Ness Avenue in San Francisco. KYA radio weather, fair and warmer. That's the weatherman's refrain this morning. He's calling for blue skies around the bay and temperatures even balmier today, and they'll stay this way through tomorrow, with the exception of some low clouds in the AM. Right now, for Daly City, I have 52 degrees and Stag with music.
Thank you, Mark. It's 6 minutes past 8 o'clock. Radio KYA time.
When hungry sailors dock for picnic lunch, serve 'em hearty tuna salad made with smooth, light Best Foods mayonnaise. Real whole egg mayonnaise.
This is no place for second best, 'cause only the best will do. There's no two ways about mayonnaise. Best Foods is the one for you.
So smooth and so light, whole eggs make it right.
Best Foods real mayonnaise.
Yes, nothing brings out the zesty flavor of fish or meat salads like Best Foods mayonnaise. It's real mayonnaise, smooth and light, made with the finest ingredients, lightly spiced and whipped with freshly broken whole eggs, even extra yolks added for the creamy texture you love. Tuna, chicken, ham, name your salad. They all taste best with Best Foods real mayonnaise.
Hey, I got a couple of birthdays to pass along. Cindy Lyko, she's celebrating her 14th birthday tomorrow. Her favorite song is Runaway. Mom passes that note along to us, and we hope you enjoyed Del Shannon's performance just a second ago. Gloria Price, on Saturday, you're having your 16th birthday. Down in Santa Rosa, your good friend Frey Norman passes this note along to us, and we hope it turns out to be the best one you ever had. 14 minutes past 8 o'clock, Radio KYA time.
Yeah, everybody.
Ray Charles.
Let's have some fun.
Yeah.
You only live but once, and when you're dead, you're done. So let the good time roll.
KYA radio weather, no foghorns around the bay today. Nothing but blue skies smiling on us, and the temperatures will even be warmer. Up to the mid-60s in San Francisco, and near or above the 70 mark in the warm spots around the bay. Another repeat performance booked in for tomorrow. However, we may get a few low clouds in the AM. Right now for San Pablo, I have 52 degrees.
I had a winner on the panic button. Paulette Whitaker called. She was the second person to get in, lives at 983 Hollister in San Francisco. Congratulations to you, Paulette. We hope you enjoy those 10 records that'll be in the mail this afternoon. It's 20 minutes before 9 o'clock, Radio KYA time on a Friday, April 14.
Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me, my lover stands on golden sands and watches the ships that go sailing. Somewhere beyond the sea, she's there watching for me. If I could fly like birds on high, then straight to her arms I'd go sailing. It's far beyond the star, it's near beyond the moon. I know beyond a doubt my heart will lead me there soon. We'll meet beyond the shore, we'll kiss just as before. Happy we'll be beyond the sea, and never again I'll go sailing.
88 Ivory Keys of Andre Previn on a Golden Gate great song like Young. That brings us right up on top of news at Radio KYA.
This is the 18th hour, and these are the stories making news right now. In the troubled Bay Area labor picture, the vote is complete and the offer rejected as 15,000 machinists remain on the picket lines. When the final vote tally shows 6 lodges turned down a wage offer from the California Metal Trades Association, while just one lodge, number 1327 in San Francisco, votes acceptance. If you're homeward bound, and your homeward travels normally take you through the 500-block area of Mission Street, a word of advice. Avoid it, because some of the fire apparatus is still on the scene, mopping up after a 2-alarm blaze hit the Western Pacific building and forced 350 office workers to leave their desks. Still no estimate of damage caused by the fire that broke out in the company's record storage area. Things might be looking up for Marin commuters who use the Golden Gate Bridge. In fact, there's a good possibility of reducing the toll to 15 cents, which would cost the district $1 million a year, but they're loaded with a $20 million reserve. The only problem seems to be that fear that a reduction might bring more customers than the span can handle. Beautiful weather even brings out the baddies on both sides of the bay. In San Francisco, a woman was leaving the bank branch at 16th and Mission Streets when a man about 25 took her for a ride to Twin Peaks, dropped her some $2,000 lighter. While in Oakland, 2 men hit a drugstore, forced the owner into the back room while they cleaned the till of $800 and also scooped up a supply of narcotics. A former San Francisco servant, now Governor Brown's clemency secretary, had an offer for big and better things as Attorney General Robert Kennedy recommends Cecil Poole's appointment as federal DA for Northern California. And if everything goes well, he'll be the first Negro to hold such a post in the continental United States. Speaking of clemency, Governor Brown kept his promise to make up his mind within 24 hours in the Alexander Robillard case as he sends the word that the 20-year-old convicted killer must keep his date with death on the 26th of the month. A busy day for the governor as he plans to fly to Washington during the weekend for a 4-day stay and visit with a purpose to see that federal officials give our Golden State its fair share of defense contracts. In the southern part of the state, a San Diego jury is still deliberating the fate of 5 persons accused of kidnapping Anthony Alicio after the group was advised that the case against one of the defendants was closed, but not told that he had changed his plea to guilty. Next Tuesday is the anniversary of San Francisco's big fire and shake in 1906. But observations seem to be taking place in Los Angeles over the weekend, where many of the early residents are now living. Mayor Christopher will receive a scroll from the L.A. City Council, though, commemorating and honoring the people who rebuilt our fabulous city by the bay. Betty Hutton plans to return to California Sunday and file a suit for annulment of her 4-month-old marriage to jazz trumpeter Pete Condoli in London. On the national and international scenes, cheering millions greeting Soviet astronaut Yuri Gagarin in his triumphant return to Moscow, with Khrushchev acting the part to the hilt. Cuba's government-controlled press blames President Kennedy for last night's burning of Cuba's largest department store. Meantime, the Kennedy administration is asking Congress for an increase in postal rates to offset an expected deficit. And the Federal Reserve Board reports it has fresh evidence supporting the belief the recession has reached bottom. Also in the White House, President Kennedy plans to ask Congress approval of the creation of a new cabinet-level Department of Urban Affairs to deal with housing and mass transportation problems. Meantime, the Kennedy administration also believes the next few days may be critical in deciding the Laos crisis, as there's growing concern in administration circles that Russia may be backing out on what had been considered a tentative commitment to stop the Laotian War. That's KYA Radio News. This is Tremaine. Stand by for weather. There's nothing like variety when it comes to ordering your favorite fresh fish or seafood. That's where Siloliva's world-famous exposition fish grotto steps right into your dining out plans. For instance, Chipino Royale superbly prepared with fresh prawns, crab legs, cockles, and rock cod with a dash of wine. Or try the chef's special, different every day, and oh, so good. Sil's gorgeous shell room, too, for appetizers. Exposition Fish Grotto, number 1 on Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco. KYA Radio weather, warmer tomorrow, sunshiny skies and fair temperatures to hit the mid-80s, to continue with a chance of fogginess late at night. Right now for San Francisco, I have 68 degrees, and Bob Mitchell with music.
Thank you, Tony.
over the United States of America. Started in Charter on the Boss of the Bay. That's Al Caiola's Bonanza. Now 5:07. Hi, this is Bob Mitchell back with the second hour of Hit Records on Jingle Free Radio for San Francisco. The panic button, of course, will sound soon, and when it does, you've got to be a resident of the peninsula next time it sounds in order to win. Can you find a 1945 penny? If you can, it's worth $25 on furniture and appliances of the old original 30th and San Pablo Furniture Warehouse. For over 41 years, 30th and San Pablo has saved the working man his hard-earned dollars, because 30th and San Pablo is just a block-long warehouse. They're located out of the high-rent district. And even more important, 30th and San Pablo Furniture Warehouse buys furniture direct from the factory in big carload lots and for cold, hard cash. Then they pass the savings on to you. Only 30th and San Pablo, can give you 3 big rooms of furniture for only $199 and on terms of just $10 a month, and even include a free stove or refrigerator. So you hurry to 30th and San Pablo while a 1945 penny is still worth $25 on 3-room groups and major appliances. Warehouses on both sides of the bay in Oakland at 30th and San Pablo, and Mountain View at 1379 El Camino Real. That's between Palo Alto and Sunnyvale. Open daily 9 to 9, Sunday noon to 5, remember. That's the old original 30th and San Pablo Furniture Warehouse. The Tokens.
Tonight I fell in love. Oh, what a wonder, this magic spell I'm under, this feeling that I feel. Is it really real? My heart beats so fast, I pray that it will last till the end of time.
Tonight I fell in love with the Tokens on Radio KY. Now 5:10. Bob B. Mitchell with Hit Records till 8 tonight.
Grab your jacket, man your gun, all hands on deck.
All hands on deck. It's a motion picture boatload of fun, starring Pat Boone as a crooning Louie, Buddy Hackett as a Chickasaw Indian going berserk, Dennis O'Keefe as a skipper who should have stayed on deck, and Barbara Eden as the delicious dream doll stashed away below deck. See the goofiest movie ever lunch. See All Hands on Deck.
And tomorrow, don't forget, Norman Davis will be down there at that preview showing of All Hands on Deck. That's at the Fox Theater in San Francisco. The doors open at noon. The show starts at 12:30, and the special admission price has been reduced to just 90 cents. Norm will be there to take your ticket. He'll be giving all of you free 45 records and pictures of Pat Boone, as well as the brand new special record dedication forms that are now available for the Norman Davis Dedication Request Show. Tomorrow at noon at the Fox in San Francisco. Wild sound, wild dance too. The Watusi, the Vibrations, another Golden Gate great on Radio KY. Mitchell here for another 2.5 hours on the Boss of the Bay, and we do it every day, Monday through Saturday from 4 to 8. Nice to have you aboard. Tonight at 7, we'll be putting down the Battle of the New Sounds. Now, the next time that panic button sounds, and it'll do it, very shortly, I assume, we've got 10 free records if you're the second person in at Yukon 2-8340. The exchanges are open. You may live anywhere just so you're the second person in. Right now, let's check Tony Tremaine on the news roll.
These stories are making headlines right now. That pretty Bolivian girl whose brother brought her to the United States for heart surgery is now out of danger at Stanford Palo Alto Medical Center. A traffic snarling 2-alarm fire was quickly brought under control after it blazed in the record section of the Western Pacific Building in downtown San Francisco. 6 of the 7 Bay Area machinist lodges reject a wage offer from the California Metal Trades Association. And Attorney General Robert Kennedy wants Governor Brown's clemency secretary Cecil Poole for the post of federal DA for Northern California. And speaking of clemency, Governor Brown turns down Alexander Robilard's plea for life, and he must keep a date with death the 26th. In Washington, fears are growing that Russia may back out of a tentative ceasefire agreement in Laos. Meantime, the commies had their big day of celebration as millions honor the Soviet cosmonaut, with Khrushchev playing the part of hero worshiper. That's 60 from 1260. This is Tremaine. Stand by for weather.
You barbecue beans from the Campbell folks, nothing like 'em ever before. There's 3 kinds of beans in barbecue sauce. Get 'em now at your favorite store. Sunny California pinks, luscious grape northerns, and tender baby limas. Blend it all together in tangy, mild tomato barbecue sauce. Campbell makes 'em, and that makes 'em good. New barbecue, new Campbell's barbecue beans.
KYE Radio weather, more of the same, just what you ordered for Saturday. Fair sunshiny skies warming up to the mid-80s in some parts. Right now for Oakland, I have 71 degrees.
Here's the Golden Gate great sound of Freddie King and Hideaway. Hit on the Swingin' 60 a couple 3 weeks ago now. The Golden Gate great sound of Freddie King and Hideaway. 17 before 6 is our radio KYA time with beautiful weather around the bay. For Niles and Dakota, I have 71 degrees.
Your call to cool refreshment. Now brewed for you neath western skies. Tonight, enjoy this famous eastern flavor. Yours at western prices. The flavor that's won the West.
From the land of sky blue waters and beer, from the land of fine swampy balsams, comes the beer refreshing, and some beer refreshing.
There it is, your invitation to one of America's most refreshing flavors. Crisp as the tang of piney air.
And beer.
Clean cut as a breeze off a deep blue lake.
And so very refreshing.
Refreshing as the land of sky blue waters. Refreshingly yours.
The panic button sounded as you heard. The second person in at Yukon 28340 was Butch Gottlieb, 1435 Waller in San Francisco. Butch, we're sending you 5 brand new records. It's 16 before 6 radio KYA time. Remember, you got to know my name or I don't give them to you. Next time the panic button sounds, you get 5 records from the Bob Mitchell Show on radio KYA. Linda Scott and I've told every little star.
Be the first on your block to devour a diced chicken pizza from Me and Ed's. It's a spring special from the Pizza Kings, Me and Ed. 6 kinds of cheese, the Me and Ed secret sauce, a little love, and plump pieces of diced chicken. That does sound good.
It does?
It sure does. Me and Ed's Pizza Parlors are located at 5 Points in Redwood City at 2230 El Camino Real in Santa Clara, at 14680 Washington in San Leandro, and 851 West San Carlos in San Jose. They're open daily from noon until real late. No more calls, please. We just got a winner as the panic button sounded. Judy Hirschberg was our winner. We'll tell you where she lives right after this.